start. Now here's a little story about how my life got
Flip
twisted
turned upside
upside down.
down. Yeah.
It was all about JSG cast.
Okay, let's do that, dude. Hit it away. The intro to the Fresh Prince of Bel Air, song / rapped by Will Smith, the Fresh Prince, is going to be covered by Russell here to the wordage, the vocabulary of Just Some Gamers. Go ahead, take it away. 3, 2,
Whoa.
1, go.
Now here's a little story about how my life got twisted, flipped upside down, and I'd like to take a minute, just sit right there. I'll tell you how I became the prince of a JSG cast podcast.
There's 3 more lines. There's 3 more verses. Let's go, baby.
No. That's it. That's all you get. That's all you get. That's hey, copyright infringement. I know we're protected under parody, but I want to be careful.
I respect that. But that's not it for this episode 121 of Just Some Gamers, my friends. Welcome on in. We're both sick as fuck. We're recording on a different day because life is slapping us around. Folks, being an adult is rough. Don't do it. Just don't even try.
I don't know why I ever decided that I wanted to become an adult. I could have been to Neverland. Michael Jackson invited me. He said, come on in. You'll never have to grow up.
Absolutely.
And I should have taken him up on it.
You really should have. It's tough, dude. It's really, you were a pretty cute kid. I could see that. I never got the invite. I think he thought I was a 40-year-old man when I was 8.
You know, I mean, you were too cute, right? Like, you got to go for the middle ground because, like, it's just like when you're picking a wife. Never pick. You got to pick an ugly woman to be your wife, right?
Yeah, of course. Yeah. You don't want someone pretty on your arm ever.
Right.
Yeah, 100%.
So, same basic principle. Like, you got to pick your middle ground when you're grooming it.
She's right behind you.
I was going somewhere with it, and then I realized, wow, this is getting real dark real quick. And I was like, I don't think I want to finish. I
just see your wife slowly rising from the bassinet behind you. Oh, dear God.
I wouldn't put it past her. No, I was expecting her to peek her head in.
Yeah, like, what did you say? Huh? Well, what I said is, hi, I'm ELMMMERFUDD, and with me here, folks, it's the effervescent Russell. I threw in an effervescent Russell at the end, bud.
Venerable ELMMMERFUDD.
You are looking good today, dude. Your hair intact. Your camera, beautiful. The dulcet tones of your voice, it's like an orgasm in my ear.
I mean, it's something in your ear.
It's like a melted chocolate Pop-Tart being drizzled into my ear.
You know, you were talking about bathing in it earlier, and I'm like, the temperature with which, because there's no middle ground, right, with a Pop-Tart.
Yeah. It's like a chicken pot pie.
The temperature at which you would then be able to bathe in it would be scalding hot lava on your skin. So it would, like, the idea of it is fun. The actual practice of it, I think, would not be nearly as fun.
I'm pretty sure that wasn't actually lava on Mustafar that Anakin slid into. I think it was just a river
Pop-Tart filling
of chocolate Pop-Tarts.
He dipped his Timbits in Pop-Tart fillings.
It's bad. You can't do that, dude.
No.
As we're well aware.
That's why I can't grow hair there anymore.
Well, that also reminds me, has your wife bleached your asshole recently?
It was not bleaching, it was waxing.
Oh, right. Sorry. Has your wife
totally
waxed your asshole recently?
She has not, though I might need her to. I typically shave it, right? I don't like dingleberries. I don't like I don't like body hair. Body hair is weird. And so I typically shave it, but I might need her to wax it, right? I like that kind of smooth baby's finish. Makes it easier to wipe. You know, you don't really have to dig in there.
Yeah.
You know? Yeah, there's not a lot getting stuck there, so like when you spread your cheeks, you don't get that smell.
I don't know. I kind of like, listen, buddy, like when I'm showering, I love dingleberries, right? If it's
you like to find them? They're like picking for treasure.
Yeah,
it's like a little golden nugget.
It's like I've got the the Lion King songs playing in my head, or I like to picture like when I'm cleaning, right, and I get in there, I feel like
Lion King song? I want to be a mighty king.
No. Can you feel the love tonight? Mostly.
Okay. Yeah. Well, I mean, while you're digging in there, you got to sing something.
Exactly. Or I feel like crap. What's his name in the Crystal Skull, swinging vine to vine with all the
Indiana
monkeys?
Jones. Oh gosh, what is
What's
his name?
Shia LaBeouf.
Do it, Shia LaBeouf.
Because I'm in the shower, being Shia LaBeouf in the Shia LaBeouf.
You're in the you're in the Shia LaBeouf.
I'm in the Shia LaBeouf.
LaBeouf.
LaBeouf. Nailed it.
So going back to that, do you like collect them? Like if they're in an interesting shape in the hairs?
Yeah. Oh, dude, absolutely, man.
Do you have like a collection of presidents?
So it's kind of, there's just kind of like, it's like a trophy wall in the shower, right? Yeah. They're all, smaller rows of cases, basically. They're glass cases. I don't want them to get wet, as showers go by. I want them perfectly preserved the way they are. The thing I'm working on right now is getting a label maker small enough so I can start naming them.
Sure.
But the other question I have is, am I naming them or am I dating them? And I mean, I would date them if they were existing, but, do I put like a, remember, 27th
I vote name and date, right?
Name and date.
Yeah. Like Abraham Lincoln log.
Yeah. Oh, I like that.
With like a date of when you found it.
Yeah.
Or,
Teddy Poopabelt would just keep with presidents.
Teddy Poopabelt. Yeah. I was trying to think of one for John F. Kennedy, but.
Well, I had one. It kind of looked like the top was kind of blown off of it, so that one would work.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Just slide that one in there.
I mean, just go right along with it, and then you could have one that's like before and after.
Ooh, that's true. Yeah. And then I have another one that looks like a Cadillac with the top down, and I put that one in between.
Is that for Elvis or for JFK?
Either way. The Elvis one has to be a very awkward sized dingleberry as he died trying to take a shit. So,
well, that's my question. So do you also have a before and after one for Elvis?
See, that's tough.
Where it's,
I feel like there needs to be
before Vegas, after Vegas.
There needs to be a death one, right? There needs to be a young Elvis, right? And I think I need one where I legitimately need to put it in the jumpsuit.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
And I don't know if
how big are
they make those.
So are you trying to find a jumpsuit that's small enough to fit?
It's a jumpsuit because at a certain point, like if the dingleberry gets a certain size, it's not a dingleberry anymore. It's just a stuck piece of shit.
I thought that's what a dingleberry was. Though.
No, but it's just like legit. Like there's a size difference between like, oh crap, I got shit stuck there, and when you go, oh, a dingleberry. You know what I mean? There's a definite difference between the two. Now, usually what you decide is the line between the two.
I think at the point that it starts to smear is the point that it's no longer a dingleberry.
Got it.
That it is, in fact, just a stuck piece of shit.
Valid. Smear campaign against dingleberries. This is what's going on here. We will not stand for this.
I do like how we just vamped off of dingleberries for like 5 minutes.
This is us, buddy. It's going to be a disgusting intro to the podcast. Let's just not stop there.
That everybody sticks around for.
Do you want to hear a story, buddy?
Yes, I want to hear your story. Perfect segue.
Buddy, last night I had a very low point in my life. Okay?
Another one?
It was pretty bad, okay? Like I've probably scarred my son for the rest of his life. He's gonna need to see professional help later on.
Oh no!
So I was a guest on the Blueberry Lounge podcast, right?
Yeah.
And I felt just fine. Izzy'd been having some stomach issues, the last couple days, and I was like, all right. I had her all curled up on the couch, comfy, being a good dad. I come in here, we're doing the podcast, having a great time, right? And I'd say an hour and a half in, we get to point, and I'm sitting here, and all of a sudden I'm just like, I do not feel good. Like I feel fucking awful. And we have an air mattress blown in here. For like when it was like stupid hot, Lisa was just sleeping in here during the day after she got off work. So I'm like, I'll be right back. So I mute the microphone and I just like fall out of the chair onto the air mattress. I'm like, all right, just breathe. I don't know what's going on. Like I had no idea what was going on with my body. Right. And the door was locked and someone's knocking on it. And I crawl over to the door on my hands and knees, open it, and my son is face to face with me. And he goes, "Hey, Dad, I need you." And I go, all I can get out is, "Get Mom." And then my head goes straight down, and I projectile vomit.
Oh, no.
Everywhere, dude.
By everywhere, do you also mean on your son?
No, thank God I look straight down.
Okay.
But
You managed.
He's coming.
to get
He's coming for help. His dad answers it on all fours. Just goes, "Get Mom," and then just goes, just straight down, right? So I like fall against the door frame to the side, and I just keep puking and puking and puking. At least it comes down and she's like, "Oh my God," you know. So she's throwing towels. She gets the hose and is spraying me. Not that. I wish she should have.
Well, it's on concrete down there, right? So you can just be like,
I'm really glad it's an unfinished basement, right? So, so then I'm telling the puke story, buddy. High five. How you feeling? Good. So I fall backwards into the room, right? And I'm just like, "Oh my God, I feel so," and I'm glad I was muted. I remembered to mute before I left the podcast, or in the background, there'd be 20 minutes just me going, "Please kill me." For the love of God. So I end up like, I'm puking to my left. I'm puking to my, it won't stop, dude. It's bad. I get to a point where I'm laying shirtless on the floor, lying in my own puke, right? Just covered. It's awful, dude. It's so bad. So we get me.
I think I might need to put myself on mute.
Yeah. But yeah, so we get it all cleaned up. Again, there's a drain right there. We legitimately got a hose. And
oh no, I don't blame you. That would have been my first thing. I've been like, "We're hosing you down."
Yep, exactly.
Naked.
So he hosed me down, wiping me off with towels. Right, this is disgusting. I'm sorry, folks, but this is who I am, so I go into detail. But I'm like, "Babe, I can't get, like, you have to get over there and just tell them like I'm out. Like I can't just leave and not say anything." So she comes and sits down, and I'm still like dry heaving in the corner, weeping. And she's just like, "Hey guys, he's having some stomach issues. He can't come back." And they're like, "Oh, we're doing a singing section." So they made her like sing a song. So like she's over here laughing and giggling because they're an awesome group of guys. And I'm in the corner just like, "Everything hurts." And she's over here singing Spice Girls karaoke.
I really hope that they have like audio of you in the background going.
Well, that's the thing, is the microphone was muted while I was puking. So sadly, or for the best, not. What's up, buddy? I'm recording a podcast.
Well, because they had her singing, so I kind of hope that the microphone picked up in the background.
Yeah.
And was like, they're like, "Oh, okay." Like it just corresponds. It's the harmony to what's going on.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, we get that figured out. At some point I pass out, right?
Yeah,
and
you passed out while I was coming to check on you.
Did you hear Ethan in the background?
No.
And I looked at you and
It's cutting him out so I can like
come here.
hear.
You tell the story. You tell it then. So I pass out. Go ahead. What you just said? I said, so I passed out. And what did you say? You just told the rest of the story at the doorway. Now you can't do it here? Pretend that's not there. The camera's not there. What'd you do?
I forgot.
Okay.
I forgot.
He's so shy in front of the camera. You remember now?
Yeah.
All right, get over here. Come on. So I pass out. What happens?
Then while I was checking, when my dad was gonna go to bed, I was just laying there just on the air mattress.
Yeah.
Yeah. I can't.
You did a good job, buddy. Yeah, so it's
Good
like
job.
2 hours later, I finally am like, okay, I think I can get up. I'm not on the air mattress. I'm laying on the floor with my head on the air mattress, right? And I finally get up and I leave the room and I close the door and then I hear Ethan's voice. I assume everyone's in bed. It's like midnight.
Yeah.
And he goes, "Dad, I'm here." I'm like, "What?" So like open the door again and his little face comes out of the basement. I'm like, "Oh, hey man, what's going on?" He's like, "I was just worried about you." So he literally, the whole time I was sitting there passed out, he just sat there and watched over me. I was like, "Dude." Oh. So
after everything had been cleaned up.
After everything had been cleaned up, he was like, all right, I'm going to pay attention to my... Izzy didn't check on me once. I think she went straight to bed and slept like a baby.
Well, if you got it from her, and that is what she went through, I don't blame her.
No, she did not get it as bad as me, man. It skipped over or something. Because I was like, after I woke up, I was like, Izzy, are you okay? What, did we just experience this together? She's like, no, I feel great today. I just had a couple weird issues, and that's it. I was like, you. So I beat her, of course.
Right. Yeah.
Of course.
Well, yeah. My story is slightly cuter.
Yeah.
Less vomiting. Although I was putting Gideon to bed for his nap today. And so I like put him in the bed, and he had just eaten. And he's doing this.
Oh, yeah.
I was like, I go, are you okay, buddy? And he goes, blah, and just threw up everywhere. So that was fun. And I was like, oh, I guess not. So I like ran inside and got out.
I guess not.
Today, we feed Gideon usually right after we feed him. He gets really lethargic. But he's starting to get to that point to where he like does things for himself. So I feed him. We have friends over, and I'm talking and feeding him, and finally he gets done. He gets done eating. He sits on my lap for a minute, and then he decides he wants to get down. So I let him down, and he starts walking, and he walks away, and he walks down the hallway and into his room, and we have a baby gate on his door, and so I hear it clang shut, and I'm like, did he just go and close himself in his bedroom?
Mm-hmm.
And I go in there, and I'm like watching around the corner, and he climbs up into his bed, grabs his blanket, pulls it over him, and then just laid down. Put himself to bed.
What a rock star.
And went to sleep. And I was like, dude, you're not even 2 yet. What are you doing? And he just went in there and he laid down, and I was like, good night, buddy. Like, he saw me, because I was like, what you doing? And he was like walking, because we have boxes for him to get up into his bed.
Yeah.
And he was like not quite into his bed. And he kind of just looked back at me like this, and he went, which is wave. Like,
oh.
Because that's what he'll do. Like when I say goodnight to him, he'll give me the wave. And so it was just very, very cute.
He's like, I'm done with today. Thank you.
Yeah. He just went and put himself to bed.
Oh, what a legend.
And like closed his baby gate.
Yeah.
Was climbing up into the bed by himself. I was like, all right, dude, you do you.
He understands how this works. I love it.
Right. So that was funny, and it was very cute. Hopefully other people thought it was cute too.
I thought so. That's so beautiful. I love that.
Yeah.
I wish my kids would put themselves to bed.
We got very lucky. He has been very, very easy. He doesn't complain. We put him to bed and he immediately goes to sleep. Sometimes he'll get up and he'll kind of like play in his room a little bit, but then he goes back to bed.
Oh yeah.
So we've been very lucky with that so far.
There'll be moments. It's always a fluctuation. Right. I'm not going to do the whole terrible threes, because like both my kids were awesome when they were 3. 4 and 5 were like month to month. But it's never like a I don't know. It just comes in spurts, man. So enjoy it. And I'm
going to enjoy it while it lasts. Yeah, I mean, it's one of those things where I think he's lulling us into a false sense of security.
Oh, 100%, dude.
Before he really just goes off the deep end. So.
Yeah, I forgot everything.
I know. Yeah. Which he did that with his eating. That's true. That's the only thing that I'm like, okay, I'm fine with that. Like we'll
pick and choose our battles. Yeah, exactly.
Right.
You're a good dad, buddy.
I'm a good dad.
You're a good dad. You're a good dad. What's up, dude?
Guess what?
What?
You know your Thor skin?
Yeah.
The one that skin that you have when people look at your name on there.
Uh-huh.
It's back in shop.
Woohoo! Nice. Woo. All right, go close the door, duder. He's in his Fortnite phase, and it's really fun.
Have you guys played together?
We have not this a new season, which you should look at actually. A new season just launched yesterday or the day before, and it is like all Marvel. All the skins in the battle pass are Marvel. Like everything in the store is. All the special pickups are Marvel. The big bad guy obviously is Doctor Doom. A lot of really cool Easter eggs in the Doom castle.
You were telling me that.
Yeah. So you got like Thanos's crown is in there. You have Doctor Strange's cape is like in a glass box. Silver Surfer's board. His throne is carved out of the Thing's body.
Oh, okay. Yeah. I saw something on X because it's not Twitter anymore.
Yeah.
But the where they were like, oh, here are all the things.
Yeah.
That are like the Easter eggs for Doom's throne room.
Yeah, it's super cool attention to detail. I haven't been able to jump in yet, but I'm very excited because last season sucked. So it's time for a good one. So, yeah, hopefully the gun pool's fine. It's not all about cars, as far as I can tell, and then all Marvel stuff. And the skins, the battle pass is fantastic.
You know, I like Fortnite, but it's one of those things. I have a hard time playing it because the gameplay is great, but they really know how to get you with those microtransactions.
Oh, and you're so susceptible.
Way too much money.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, that's a cool skin. I should buy it. And I'm like, I should not play this game because I was spending too much money.
I know. Which means we got to get back into it this season. It's all Marvel, dude. It's all superheroes.
I'm aware, and that's why I shouldn't play it this season.
But one of the weapons is Captain America's shield. And it can block stuff. You can throw it. It bounces between targets.
All right. We do need. I will play it because it's one of the things that we can play together. I'm always down to play a game.
We always had a really good time when we played. We played like 2 seasons together, and it was probably some of the most fun I've ever had in Fortnite. We got a darn bunch of wins too, dude.
Yeah, we did pretty good. Like, we usually finished in the top 10 at least.
Oh, yeah. Was that season with
not because of me.
Where you turned into the Chrome? What season of Chrome? Where you turned into the little...
It was the Chrome and then, like, the Dragon Ball.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, the Dragon Ball one. Yeah. Good times, buddy.
I think it started with Chrome, and it was up until the Dragon Ball season that we kind of played.
Well, before we jump into anything, the main topics, now that we're done talking about puke, that was a good 30 minutes of the episode. Love y'all. We do have the gaming club. We're rocking through Mass Effect 2 right now. That episode is scheduled for the 29th of August as of recording. What is that, a week and a half for Mass Effect 2? Yeah. I don't think Russ has started it.
I have actually started
it. Okay, good. He's started it, and that's as far as that sentence is going.
I've gotten to... I'm trying to figure out where I've gotten to. Excuse me, because the structure of Mass Effect 2 is a little bit different.
Yeah.
Because I do a lot of the side missions. And because it's a lot less linear. Mass Effect wasn't linear, but it was. Too.
Yeah. Oh yeah, absolutely.
I've recruited. I'm still in the recruitment missions.
Which is the longest part of the game, yeah.
And I've recruited Archangel.
Okay.
Because I don't want to spoil anything yet. Archangel, and I recruited the Doctor.
So you did the first 2 missions.
And I think I'm getting ready to recruit... Oh, I also got like some of the DLC characters, because Legendary Edition has the DLC. So I have like the mercenary guy who... Really cool.
Like, yeah.
His design, his mission was kind of cool. And I think right now I'm doing the mission with the thief lady.
Oh, okay. Oh, that's a great one. Yeah. The art gallery.
Her companion mission.
Yeah. Great mission.
I just started that one. So that's where I'm at right now.
Okay. That's a lot of Mass Effect 2 to play in a week and a half, buddy.
I've been playing it.
I believe in you.
I've been playing.
You're going to pull it off.
yesterday and today, actually speaking. So, keep going because I've been playing a game. I want to talk about it for a second.
We can. That's it, man. Just the 29th is that Mass Effect 2 episode. So if you've been playing Mass Effect 2, it's just an open-ended format. If you jump into the episode, if you're playing it, and we'll talk about it. That's it. All right. What do you got, Russ? What have you been playing?
Well, real quick, let me do my book update. So I'm in chapter 3. I'm maybe 10% done. I'm at like 9,787 words.
Hell yeah.
Which I feel pretty accomplished about. I just started in
You should.
May, maybe June, end of May, beginning of June. So what? What is it?
2.5,
September?
3, we're
August?
mid-August.
So, 2.5, 3 months. I'm at 10,000 words, which 75,000 to 100,000 words is kind of my goal. So I'm at about 10%.
Hell yeah, dude.
10%.
I'm so proud.
Chapter 3's been a bear, man.
Oh, really?
It's weird. Well,
is this the descent part, or are we already past that?
Yeah. So this is kind of like one of the MCs. He's kind of going. Because I think what I want to do, and this isn't spoilers or anything, is I decided kind of what I wanted to do was we always get the buildup of the hero. And I'm almost doing a little bit of an inverse, where the protagonist is established. He's a veteran. Where we're actually getting kind of the origins of the antagonist.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Yeah.
So we're going to get some ideas of the protagonist in flashbacks and things like that.
Yeah.
But the villains have always been more interesting to me, and so as I was writing this wasn't originally part of the plan. As I was writing this, I was like, you know what? People really latched onto this character. I don't know if you've read any of it yet, but
I was gonna start it after that podcast last night, and then I started puking everywhere.
Fair.
Yeah.
So I originally had started that first chapter. I read it, right? Bast, right? The kind of homeless character that it starts out with. Originally, he was just going to be kind of like a lot. You get in a lot of prologues where he's going to be there and then he's just going to fall out of the story, right? He's there for a very specific point, a very specific purpose, but you're not really going to hear from him ever again. But a lot of people kind of latched onto him, like a lot of my beta readers and people that had read.
I loved him.
And so I was like, you know what? I think why not have him stick around? And I had been listening to podcasts and things like that where they're like, look, one of the things that's played out is having a character that's introduced in the beginning of your book that is never introduced again.
That happens
and I was like,
shit ton.
Right. And so I was like, you know what? Maybe I can go away from this. Maybe I can do a little bit more with Bast. And so the idea is this kind of... And so it became that where I'm like, well, maybe we'll go more into where this antagonist is coming from. And I can use him as a lever. I can use Bast as a lever to kind of further that story along and tell it from his perspective. And then we kind of get a better relationship with one of the main antagonists and the protagonist. And I thought that would be interesting. So we're going to see how it goes.
Hell
see if it works well. But chapter 3, because I had not planned or established anything with Bast prior to starting writing, I'm like, who is he? How does he think? What's going on with him? So that's why I've struggled with chapter 3 a lot. Because it was not something that was part of my original outline or part of my world building. But now it's become kind of this major point.
Yeah.
To the book going forward.
I think it's important to, like, when it feels right, to make someone more important than you planned, especially when you have actual readers be like, hey, this is something I kind of dig. Like, it's really smart to be like, I'm going to go for it. Like, let's lean into this.
And that's why I kind of liked, because I think I do things a little bit weird too. Most people would write their first draft, then have beta readers read it.
Yeah.
I kind of like splitting it up by chapter. because I can get feedback as I go along. Plus, with me and the way I do things and kind of that ADHD brain is if I split it up in smaller chunks, it's more gratifying to get the feedback immediately.
Oh, absolutely. And then it's less work it's more goal oriented. Yeah. The instant gratification, like you were saying. Oh, 100%.
Yeah. So that's why I've broken it up into smaller parts. And that's why it's like, okay, I've liked doing it because it's like I didn't anticipate that this was the way this was going to go.
Oh, yeah.
But okay, like I can fix this as I'm going along, because then by the time I get to that last chapter, hopefully I've done a lot of the revisions that I've needed to do.
Exactly.
And by that point, like, because I know that once I get close to the end, I'm going to want to be like, yeah, let's finish this up and get it turned in and start seeing what's going to happen with it. So I've liked that a lot. It's been a little bit different. But anyway, that's the update on the book.
Hell yeah. I love that. No, it's like, again, with how you're doing it, I love with how, as a reader, starting from the beginning with how you're doing your feedback, it's going to be fun because you'll be like, ooh, I really hope he pushes more into this. But you've already had people, as you wrote it, tell you that. So it's naturally good. Yeah. So as a reader, you're just going to go, ooh, yes, that happened. Oh, yes, as it goes. Instead of, how many books you have a character like you're mentioning that you're like, man, I really wish they were around more. And then the book came out and then everyone said that. And then the second book comes out and suddenly it's like, look who's important now. And it's like, I really wanted, you could tell that it was only because we all said something for the second book, but it's like, it would have been great earlier.
And that's another reason, right? Because I know that if I started writing it and finished it, I would be really hesitant to change certain aspects.
Oh, 100%. Yeah.
But if I do it this way, then I'm like, okay, no, I get what they're saying.
With that.
I like that, or I don't like it, so I can work with that and make it the best book possible.
Well, and you also have that.
Works for me.
Yeah. Well, you also have that Dungeon Master D&D brain where stuff changes on the fly. So you're used to, you have a story in your head, but things can happen that makes you go, oh, all right, here's where we're going with this now. Like, you're already trained to have that happen.
Well, and that's what I do with my D&D sessions.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Like, depending on what happens is then like, okay, I usually build out a session in advance. I have outlines, I have plot points, but I usually build it out a session in advance. I was running a game with my wife and her brother. It's just the two of them, but we're running a quick little, hour-long thing every couple of weeks. I used an adventure that was in a thing, and they both decided that they're like, we don't want to go in this direction. We want to now just go in this random direction. And so I was like, this is not what I was expecting, but now we're going in this direction. Like, they ended up at this mill, and it was supposed to be this big encounter. And then they just decided, we don't really want to participate in this. And they ran off in a random direction into the woods. And now I'm like, well, okay, let's go in this direction. So, yeah. So, and that's another reason why I like doing the chapter by chapter thing, is because it's like, okay, I can see how people are reacting.
Yeah.
This is hitting. This isn't hitting. Maybe I need to lean in this direction or go in this direction. Chapter 2. Chapter 2 is going to change drastically. The version that you're reading, the latter half isn't.
Yeah.
So I can say this because it's going to change. I had this kind of power fantasy moment with the protagonist, right?
Okay.
It didn't land in the same way with some of my readers. And they were like, I mean, it just doesn't fit. It doesn't feel right. There's something off about it. And I'm like, you know what? I agree. I think instead of going this direction, it's not playing the way that I thought it would. I'm going to change things up and drastically change what happens.
That's cool.
Right? Because he ends up fighting this beast. He takes a swig of what I've called the Vespers in the book, which then powers him up, basically. And then he's able to, like, tear it apart. I mean, he's very injured by the end of it. And he ends up collapsing from blood loss. He's got some broken ribs. He's got...
Yeah, it's like the power overpowered him just barely enough to get it done.
Right.
Yeah.
And it just didn't land right. And I'm like... And I didn't really like it either. Like, I wrote it and I was like, we'll see how it lands with the readers. they didn't land with them very well. So now I'm going to change it up to be like, no, we're going to go a different direction because it wasn't fitting with the theme that I wanted it.
Yeah, for sure.
So, yeah. Anyway, that's the book update. I'm sorry that I rambled for a long time,
buddy. Anyone who has been around for any amount of time is aware this is how this show and you works.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But really quick, I just wanted to well, I don't know how quick.
Yeah. That's not a thing you do.
So I started playing a game yesterday.
Okay. What were you playing?
Have you played Cult of the Lamb?
Cult of the Lamb. I don't think so. It doesn't sound familiar.
Okay. You should. It's pretty cheap. I think it's like the base version is like $9 even on the PS5.
Looking at it.
So it's kind of got this cutesy art style.
I'm like seeing that.
Kind of a cartoonish thing, but what it's about is this lamb who's going to be sacrificed. This is the very beginning of the game. This lamb who's being sacrificed because of a prophecy that he'll free this kind of eldritch beast that's been imprisoned by these other eldritch beasts.
This is fantastic.
And so you are sacrificed, but you end up going to the one who waits, which is this eldritch beast, and he gives you a crown, and he says, "You're my disciple. You're how I'm going to come back to the world. I need you to do this, and to do that, I'm going to bring you back to life and turn you into you're basically playing a lamb warlock."
This is
and
fantastic.
you're building up this cult as you go along. And so there's like this base management system. And then the main gameplay loop is managing the base, managing your cult, keeping everybody happy. And then you go on crusades where you go through a randomly generated map. And in each room, it's got maybe some trap elements and then usually some enemies to fight. You kill them, you get rewards. Then you move to the next room. And so it has this roguelike element.
Yeah.
That is a random nature of like this gameplay loop of going and grinding to get stronger and getting more resources to then bring back to your cult. But there are things like you can pick up a commandment which allows you to just murder your followers. Like that's just the thing. You can walk up to them and you can murder them. And the intention is like, so as you're building the cult, they have a faith, right?
Yeah.
That goes up and down, right? If you keep them fed, if you keep them happy, if you keep them working, if you put shelters in place, if you clean up their poop, that's a thing. Because they're all like woodland creatures.
Yeah.
So if you clean up their dingleberries, which then you get fertilizer, and there's like rainbow poop, and there's golden poops that are better fertilizers.
This is fantastic. How the fuck did you find this game?
It's a game that I heard about a while ago, and I was like, that looks interesting. Like, it has this really dark sense of humor.
Oh, yeah.
Like, which is this juxtaposition to the cutesy art style.
Yeah. Oh, 100%.
But it is hilarious, and it is awesome, and it is deep. Like, there's the surface level stuff, and then there's like the deeper, like base building, puzzle building aspects to everything. And like the roguelike elements are kind of difficult. Like,
oh yeah.
Difficult enough to where it's like a grind. All right. And like if you die during one of your crusades, like they'll lose faith in you. And so you have to like build that faith back up. Because it has all these mechanics based on devotion and things like that. All of that to say, if you haven't played this game, go get this game because it's fun. It's also like not super expensive, and it just introduced a co-op mode.
Oh shit! Okay, I'll look into it then.
So you and I could play together, gather resources, and then you can like take them back to your game.
Buddy, no one will pick up fecal matter like I will in your base. I'll tell you that right now.
Also, it has local co-op. So like Lindsay, wanted to play with me the other night because I told her, I was like, hey, it also has local co-op, so you can jump in because she likes those kinds of things occasionally. So she was just able to drop in co-op with me, run through a crusade with me, and then drop out.
That's badass, dude.
Yeah.
Who made this game?
Devolver.
Devolver. I don't recognize it.
So it came out, I think, a couple of years ago.
Yeah, all the trailers I'm seeing are from 2 years ago. So.
And then they've released like DLC items along the way. So it's got this continual support. And the co-op mode just came out.
Do this comment on the trailer. Don't waste poop. Save it for tier 3 shelters. 10 poop per shelter adds up fast. You need a lot of it if you want a tier 3 for every cult member. Don't waste poop. What? That's such a badass comment. That's the selling point for the game right there.
One of the funniest things was I'm running around and it's got like a little meter that shows you how clean like your cult is. And so like it had dropped to like 0 and I was like, holy crap. I was like, I've been picking up poop. And like, so I'm like going around and I'm like, oh, okay. Like I found a couple of things, but it's like not going up. And I was like, what
does that do? Yeah.
And I found this massive, like larger than a house poo in the corner of the screen. And I was like, what the hell? Like, how did this happen? Like, who did this?
Is it where you've just accidentally been putting all the poop you're picking up?
I guess it's like I don't know if it's just like enough people had pooped in the area that it kind of all glommed together or what, but it was bigger than a house. It was a lot of poo.
Jesus, dude. Hard carve a cave in it. You could live in it.
Yeah, no, I mean it's ridiculous.
Yeah.
So, and I think it was like the base version was like $9.
That's not bad at all.
On the PS5 because I got it on the PS5, but you can play it on Steam as well.
Yeah, games like this I prefer to play on console. There's like I've found a point where there's certain games I prefer on console and certain games I'd prefer on PC. For a long time it was just like PC all the time, but it's like no, I found a lot of these like single player games are like I really enjoy just sitting on a couch with a controller, being super far away from the screen. Yeah, it's really nice.
Console is typically what I reserve for like adventure games.
Yes.
Things where I'm going to be playing by myself a lot, or that require like if I don't like where the dodge button is.
Yeah.
Helldivers. That's the reason I play it on console is because it's like I can't get to the dodge button because
what's cool about PC is you can change the fucking button to whatever you want. You piece of shit.
Yeah, but it was just I was like I think I would prefer to play this on a controller.
Yeah, no, I hear you. But well, like I mean, you know, a big we have a list of upcoming games we're going to be talking about here tonight, folks. But speaking of playing on a console, again, a couple days ago, the trailer for the next Dragon Age game finally launched, and I think I'm full bore. That's going to be on the PS5. I'm going to play through that on PS5.
Yeah, adventure games, role-playing games.
Yeah.
They're typically what I like for a console. One, it's like, have a very comfortable chair, but being able to sit in like a recliner.
Yeah. Well, it's just that nostalgia factor too, of just like, you know, a lot of the games I played back in the day were single-player RPG stuff. So like sitting there, you know, in front of a TV with a controller on the couch, shirtless, maybe wearing pants. You know, and just like losing yourself is just, well, like I was playing, it's not the same thing, but like, I think it was last Sunday, I was playing Mass Effect 2 and I was like, okay, I'm just going to do like a couple missions. And I've been kind of jumping in doing a mission here and there when I could.
Yeah.
And like, I think I wound up like everyone was taken care of and fine. Everyone's one of those days where just everyone's being lazy. I think I sat here and played it for like 8 hours straight and just completely lost myself into just the story and what happens next and moving on to the next thing and the next thing and the next thing. And it has been years since I've been able to do that in a game. And it like, I went to go to bed and I was like, that was like the kid in my soul was like, ha, we did it. Like, it was just so refreshing. So I'm hoping to get that from this. But did you watch the trailer for Dragon Age?
I want to say I did.
Well, it was like 2 days ago, so I feel like hopefully you'd remember that.
No. I haven't seen that one. I think I saw another one that was like the release date video.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
So I haven't seen the one that came out a couple of days ago then.
Okay. Yeah, that one's got a bunch of gameplay. It's showing off like a lot of the companions, some of the combat.
Okay. Yeah, I'm going to have to watch that because I really like Dragon Age Origins. I liked, but it has not aged well.
No.
And even at the time, I wasn't a fan of the combat. I don't like a lot of cooldown system kind of combat. I like it to be more real time. I really loved Dragon Age Inquisition. The combat was enough of it was enough of what I like.
Yeah.
That I was like, okay, I can understand.
Especially, I know you're a big magic guy. Being a mage in Dragon Age Inquisition was awesome. So,
Qunari Mage Knight.
Yes. All day.
My shield never went down. Never went down, and I always romance Cassandra.
My man, dude, that's the way to do it, dude. Because we can't get into Dragon Age Inquisition right now, but fucking love that game. It's incredible. And Dragon Age has been a huge. I mean, I'm a big BioWare guy. Period. Hence why the gaming club right now is going through the Mass Effect series. But yeah, dude, Dragon Age is so near and dear to my heart. I'm very pumped for this next Dragon Age game. I can't remember what the actual official title is for it, but
Veilguard.
Veilguard, that's right. The story points look really interesting. The art style is definitely different, but something I had to remind myself when like the whole internet was shitting on it was like every Dragon Age game has kind of had a different art style than the previous one. So they kind of all look different anyway. So I'm like, all right, it's just going a different direction. And,
well, they've had to. I mean, it's been like 10 years between games.
Yeah.
Dragon Age 2 and Inquisition were probably the closest.
We're a lot closer. Yeah. But it's still, it's been like 10 years since Inquisition launched. So, Yeah. That was, did they do that one on Snowdrop? I can't remember which engine that was, but yeah, no, I mean, like, I'm excited from what I've seen, obviously using the engine they're in allows things to be more, more fluid, again, a lot of people are shitting on everything because it's not like Origins. Well, just because it's the first game of the series you play doesn't mean every game needs to be like that. But
and here's the thing: it's not like you remember Origins to be
exactly,
because Origins, like if you actually see videos of like gameplay of Origins, yikes!
I still played it in a couple years.
Do you?
Oh yeah.
I mean, like it's rough. It's rough. Like it looks like. Almost like the polygon nature of like WoW.
My last playthrough was the first time I played it on PC, and it was I was surprised. It worked way better on PC. I think because Origins is more it's more of like a tactical, like you pause combat and go through all your people and what they're going to do in the battlefield.
Yeah.
Which seemed to work a lot smoother. Because it's funny, I think the first like 5 times I played through it, I didn't even know you could like pause and do battle mode. And so I just like bum rushed through the game. And this last time I was like, oh, this is the main mechanic of the game. Never did that.
Here's a funny story about Dragon Age while we're on the topic.
Yeah.
A few years ago, I was reading one of the books. Like it was like one of the first books that came out around Dragon Age because it was around the time Dragon Age Origins came out.
Yeah.
Reading a book. I went to sleep. I woke up in the middle of the night, dreaming about being in what's it called, the
Underdark.
Not the Underdark,
Grey
that's D&D. Yeah, but what's the place called? The Underdark like place.
I think it's the Underdark in both. Let me find out real quick.
Anyway, point being, I woke up to text a girl.
Sorry, Deep Roads.
I woke up to text a girl that I was dating at the time, and I went, "Tell them the Darkspawn are coming," and then immediately went back to sleep. Woke up in the morning, looking back at our text, and it's like, "Hey, how are you doing? Tell them the Darkspawn are coming." What the hell are you talking about? Like, what? It's like that was an accident.
Hey, he didn't marry that person. Big shock. No. Well, what's the game on this list you have here, buddy, that you're super excited for coming out either later this year or early next year, man? We got some fucking solid games coming soon.
Yeah, there are a couple of good ones. So a couple of that are happening this month.
Okay.
So Star Wars Bounty Hunter remake. Have you heard about this?
I just heard about this. Yeah.
You played Bounty Hunter, right?
I did. Yeah. I played it at your house.
Okay. Yeah. Because I think I remember being like, dude, you have to play this game.
Yeah.
It's awesome. I played it on the PS2, like its original version, and I loved this game to the point to where my controller, the square button, was worn out because you would have to like tap it to shoot because he had the dual blasters.
Mm-hmm.
And it was worn down, and I would just sit there and I got so good at doing that. But they're doing a remake of it, which I'm really excited about. I think it looks more like a remaster. Like what they've done to it kind of looks like what I remember it looking like. Like still not great. Still not great.
Well, yeah, I like
but at least a little
that.
bit better.
Yeah, I like when stuff gets completely, remastered and it looks gorgeous, but like I kind of love it more when it's just enough to be what you think it used to look like.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It looks like they've kept all the same stuff. Hopefully they've fixed a couple of the bugs.
And the control scheme.
I remember the control scheme being
bad. It was bad.
Well, you had like the jump button, and then you had the square. The camera was rough. Because I actually recently went back and played it because they had it on like PS Plus.
Oh, okay,
right?
Yeah,
you could get it for free and play it on the PS5, and I was like, oh, I love this game. And the camera is
bad,
not great.
Yeah.
It's rough.
It's almost like it was designed for the Nintendo 64, and then they're like, oh shit, we gotta put it everywhere else.
Yeah,
I remember,
it definitely.
I remember coming over and you're like, you're playing this game today. And I was like, but it's only single player. You're like, I don't care. And you sat there and just watched.
Mm-hmm. Well, it's got an interesting story. I mean, it's not the greatest story. It's basically because it's how Jango Fett got hired by Count Dooku.
Yeah.
Right. For those of you who have watched the prequels, spoiler alert, right? So Jango was the what you call it, the template for the clones,
the seed. Oh, yeah,
yeah. And so this was how he became that template for the clones. And so it's this adventure. He gets hired by Count Dooku to take out like this dark Jedi. And that's the premise of it. And I do remember like the later levels, you just, because of the whatchamacallit, because of the graphics at the time, last levels are really hard because they would have like these caves, and in the caves were snipers, and you couldn't get to the caves. You could only shoot into the caves, and they had like this one-shot kill, and so you had to like, you would have to use the sniper rifle, but you couldn't really see them, so you just kind of had to look for the eyes and try and hit them with a sniper rifle.
Yeah,
and it was it was rough. It was just rough all around. It was really ridiculously hard, but it was such a fun game. So I would recommend taking a look at it because it is just a fun Star Wars game where, we didn't get 1313, but here you can play as a bounty hunter. They had this mechanic that as you were going through the levels, you could like look through his visor and like random people. It was specific people, but because they didn't do random stuff at the time, would have bounties on them. And so you could like tie them up with his little grappling hook thing and then claim the bounty on them.
Yeah, it had a lot of mechanics that were like really ahead of its. I mean, the cool thing with Star Wars Bounty Hunter is a lot of people, put it as one of the better Star Wars games ever made. So like, it's fine. A lot of people haven't really asked for it to be remade, but everyone has it on their list of like top 5 best Star Wars games of all time. So like, it makes sense to have it, and now it's here. When does it come out?
It comes out this month. I don't know the exact date.
Okay.
I just know that it's this month, and I was excited about it, and I was not anticipating that was a thing that they were ever going to do.
I don't think anyone did.
Which, speaking of remakes, did you want to swap back and forth?
No, you had you set yourself up beautifully. Go for it, dude.
So speaking of remakes, one of the ones that I'm most excited about, and this is, it hasn't been confirmed yet, but it looks like it's going to be a thing. It looks like they're remaking Soul Reaver 1 and 2.
Soul Reaver.
Which...
Oh, I remember you playing this game all the time. Yes.
Yeah. So this game is the voice acting in this game, and it starts with a game called Legacy of Kain. Premise of this is that this guy, he's like a noble, he dies, he becomes a vampire. His then goal is to reverse him becoming a vampire. He has to kill like all these pillars, right? All these people that act as the pillars for can't remember the name of the world. Anyway,
Pillars of Eternity. Wait, no, that's the wrong thing.
No. So anyway, you're playing as a vampire. It's one of the first games that did that, where you're playing as a vampire.
Overland?
No. Azeroth.
Nosgoth. Azeroth is World of Warcraft.
Okay, Nosgoth.
Yeah, Nosgoth.
And so he's got to kill all these like wizards and stuff like that. Well, it turns out that he was supposed to be one of those pillars. He's supposed to then kill himself to like reset the world. But instead, he decides, screw that, I'm going to be a vampire king. And he turns everybody in the world into vampires and screws over the world. So Soul Reaver picks up with one of his lieutenants has now evolved past him. He has wings and he's able to fly. So Kain breaks his wings and throws him into like this bottomless... He basically throws him into kind of this bottomless pit that's filled with water. Because water is like acid to vampires, but vampires can't die. So basically what he does is he just consigns him to eternal torment as he floats down. So anyway, Azrael, which cool names, second of all.
Yeah, 100%.
But the voice acting and storytelling, this was Amy Hennig. So I don't think this is one of her first games. She's the same one who did Uncharted.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Oh, fantastic.
She's doing, I think, Star Wars Outlaws, which also comes out this month.
Is that this month? Shit. Fuck.
Yeah.
There's not enough time.
Yeah. No, there isn't.
What a great problem to have.
And so she does a lot of like, she's done some of my favorite story-based games. And so he ends up in the underworld. He ends up working for like this eldritch being that then uses him to like attack Kain. And there's all these time travel scenarios. They kind of like go back and forth in time. There's one where you play as Kain and as Azrael, and the story is basically these two entities who are these beings of fate, these actors, enactors of change, and they're stuck in this kind of like eternal battle and war with each other.
Oh, so badass.
It is. The story is just it's complex.
So right up your alley. Yeah.
Oh yeah. Dark fantasy, post-apocalyptic fantasy world.
So it looks like it's still not confirmed, but apparently something was leaked at Comic-Con this year, which has made everyone talk about it. So that was just last month.
Yeah, there was a statue that said Soul Reaver 1 and 2 remake. That was at a Comic-Con. Somebody took a picture of it and they posted it. What it was for was Dark Horse is getting ready to release a series of comic books based in Nosgoth.
Yeah.
which are supposed to be like a prequel series, because it turns out that Azrael was like this paladin knight that was part of an order that are like vampire slayers. And what Cain did is he was like a leader, and Cain took him and then turned him into a vampire, and then he killed all his brethren.
Jesus.
And turned them as well.
What a G.
Yeah, no, like it's dark, it's cool, it's gritty.
It's got the nostalgia, and it's time for remasters, dude.
And it was one of those games where it's like it's got two worlds that overlay on top of each other. So you're in like the spirit world or in Nosgoth, and you would have to swap back and forth to solve puzzles.
And I feel like it was one of like the first games to have, which we all think of it as nothing now, but a vault mechanic, like where you jump and you could like grab on a ledge and pull yourself up and over. I feel like remembering that was like a really big thing for that game.
It was one of those games where it broke a lot of new things mechanically.
Yeah.
And it did really, really well. And they've tried to reboot it a couple of times. I don't know if you remember, there was like a MOBA a few years back, which was like, it was like an arena game where you would like play as vampire hunters and vampires. And
I do remember. Yes.
I think it was called Nosgoth.
Yeah. It was based. Okay, I got you.
Yeah. And then there was, you should look up videos of this one because that's really, really cool.
Okay.
There was a game that was called Soul Reaver Black Sun, I believe, or either Legacy of Cain Black Sun. So.
Oh, Dead Sun?
Maybe Dead Sun.
Dead Sun. 2012. That sound right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So it was a game that was axed, but they had finished a lot of it mechanically. And it looked really awesome, like to the point to where you're playing as a vampire who's slowly evolving over time, and you could like fly at certain points. And like it just looked really cool. Like I'm really kind of sad they axed it. Because it looked like it was going to be a hell of a ride. Yeah.
I'm watching a trailer right. Holy fuck.
Yeah. Yeah.
This looks amazing.
Yeah. So I'm hoping, because typically what they do is, right, we're going to put out a remake to test the market. To see how, if people are still into this title. And it's got this huge cult.
Oh, absolutely.
And so I'm really hoping that it does very, very well, because I would love to see like a remake, not just a remaster, or like just another game, or even Black Sun, where they're like, we're going to take this and now we're going to put it in Unreal Engine and and finish it.
This looks insane.
Because like the combat where he's like tackling people and like ripping them apart,
and throwing them on, impaling them on their own axes.
Yeah.
There was a boob,
and then there's like a part where like he'll like grow wings and he's like flying around. It looks like it's going to be like if they ever did do that game, it looks like it would be a baller. So I'm really excited about that. I really hope that they're going to do a remake, because it's really hard to get. Like, I've looked on Steam. I'll continually look because I've always wanted to replay through them.
Oh, yeah.
Like, from Legacy of Cain. There's a couple of games in there that did really bad. There was a Legacy Cain. I think it was like Blood Omen 2. Which, like, took the... Because they always mess with the timeline. And one of the things that they did was, we've rewritten the timeline. Now it's Cain in a steampunk world. And... It's like, I mean, like, I get it. You could probably do something like that, but it was like bad 2000s dark grittiness. Lots of leather, lots of bondage. It kind of looks like they saw Underworld and went, oh, that's really cool. We should do something like that. So I'm really hoping that is going to be a thing, because I'm super excited about that.
That trailer got me so hyped.
I know, right? Like, did you see where he was flying?
Yeah, right. He like pulls himself up and then the wings burn. He's fighting that boss with like the fucking I don't know, tentacles that come off of her and throwing them underwater, and
Yeah.
shit looked badass. Well, speaking of co-op from a game you were talking about earlier, we're big Helldivers people. So a game coming out, it's pretty similar, but on steroids is Warhammer Space Marines 2.
Oh, dude.
That me and I need to play this with you.
And I've been watching this religiously just to see. I think this is going to be... I am super excited about this, and here's why. Because sometimes when I'm playing Helldivers, I'm like, I really kind of want more of a power fantasy.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah,
I love Helldivers.
Yeah, they're two different things. You have I love Helldivers because you're just your disposable soldier. And then Warhammer is going to be the same basic concept, except you're not a throwaway soldier. You're the fucking biggest. You're what the propaganda tells you in Helldivers you are. You know what I mean?
Exactly. Yeah. And I'm excited about that. I feel like they're both going to fill that niche. Because 100%. I think a lot of people's complaints with Helldiver is, I don't feel strong, but that's not the point. You're not a super soldier. You're just a regular dude who's told he's a super soldier who's going to go die on the front lines.
Yeah.
Whereas Space Marines 2, like you said, you are the super soldier.
The thing of things. And it's just, again, fucking brutal and dark and like literally grabbing the fucking whatever. I can't remember all the Warhammer lore, but ripping things apart with your bare hands and chainsaw swords and graphically, it just looks phenomenal. The enemy it looks like it runs pretty fucking smooth. Warhammer is an awesome IP. I love that, like, games for Warhammer have been in a weird spot for a long time. And I feel like the last 5 years, they've really fucking hit a stride. And that's why the miniatures are so expensive. They got to pay for all the games, right? Well,
I feel like Dark Tide was kind of the lead in, right? Yeah. Where they're like, okay, this is doing well enough that we can move into this space and already have a following there. And I think Space Marine 2 is their first attempt into that. Because there's going to be not a single player campaign, but there's the story campaign.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's not necessarily single player. You can still play co-op. Which I'm really, really excited about.
Yes.
But there's also the co-op nature to keep that replayability. And the more I watch of it, the more I'm like... Because I'm hesitant about it, right? I was hesitant about it. I'm like, okay, is it going to be as good as it looks? Because I'm really excited about this. It's third person, which I love.
Third person, dude.
I want to see the Space Marine ripping apart a Tyranid.
Yep.
I wanted to say Terminid for a second. But that's Helldivers.
That's Helldivers, yeah. Dude, I'm watching the trailer right now, and they weakened a bigger one enough that there's this animation this guy goes into where a claw comes down, he knocks the claw to the side, drops his gun, and just 1-2 punches it, climbs onto its back, and he's got his hand under the shell and is currently ripping it down its spine. Are you fucking kidding me?
Yeah. It looks so good. I'm excited to play through the single player co-op.
Yep.
Right? And I'm also super excited to just like Helldivers, right?
You just have missions
you're going to drop into. They also have PvP, which typically I'm not a PvP person.
No, I'll try it, but that's not my main focus here.
The team versus team mechanic looks pretty fun.
Yeah.
And I'm excited. It looks like they balance things well enough to where I'm not going to feel so super outclassed.
Exactly.
For instance, Destiny, right? I feel like I'm pretty good at Destiny, but when I get in Trials of the Nine with people, I'm like, F this game. I don't know how people do this. This is ridiculous. That's probably a long time ago.
Yeah.
I don't even know if Trials of the Nine is still a thing anymore.
I don't know either. I think, they turned it off and on so many times during Destiny 2's life cycle that I don't know. I don't think they even know if they want it or not. So the sheer number of enemies that can be on the screen at one time is fucking insane.
Right. I've heard a few things about stuttering.
Well, yeah, there has to be. This is insane.
from what I've heard, it hasn't slowed the game down. It's just like a few stutters here and there.
Yeah.
Even in the team matches or the PvP matches. So,
and I know there's
I'm
a ton. Yes, I know there's a ton of Space Marine factions, which lets you, obviously look different. It looks like, from what I can tell, I haven't looked into much into like customization, but it looks like there'll be some things you can do here and there to really make it your dude. Which is just so, and you can like, you can have a fucking rocket launcher, or you can be the guy that runs around with a giant shield, Russ, and a chainsaw sword. Like, fuck yeah, dude.
Oh, I'm going power sword. I'm doing the I can't remember what they're called.
This guy's got a giant lightning hammer. Like,
yeah, I may go because there's like the heavy with like the machine gun.
Yeah.
Which is also appealing,
really
but
badass.
I think I'm going to be going for shield and power sword, that type. I forget what it's called. But the melee character, because they can throw down a standard and like rally everybody.
Fuck,
so
dude.
each type has their own purpose. There's snipers, which are awesome.
Oh,
there's a
some
lot
PvP video. I haven't watched any of this. You mentioned PvP. I didn't even know there was going to be any. I haven't seen a trailer with that, and there's one now. I'm watching.
Yeah, it's team versus team.
Yeah, that's usually how PvP works.
Well, I mean, rather than being a bunch of individuals running around.
I know. Oh yeah, Control. Oh yeah, this reminds me a lot of like Gears of War multiplayer or PvP.
And I think they're going for, I think they're pulling from like Gears of War PvP and the mission based objective PvE. They're kind of pulling from Helldivers, is what it looks like.
Yeah, it looks phenomenal, dude. I'm very excited for this game.
Yeah, no, it's gonna be great, and I'm super excited about it.
You want to hit one more each?
Sure.
Okay.
Sure. What do you want to do?
Well, I think for me, it's not gonna be one coming up. And I'll let you go next. I might end with a kind of a once human update moment, and then keep getting you updated on an important thing happening.
So Black Myth Wukong, I'm really excited about. I'm pretty sure you guys have been hearing about that all over the place. It's Journey to the West meets it's a modern day retelling of Journey to the West. Right? You're playing as the Monkey King. I've heard a lot of people, like when it was first coming out, were like, "Oh, it's a Souls-like." From what I understand, it's not. It's not a Souls-like.
No, I saw one of the devs came out. Actually, I saw this the other day. It was going viral, and he was like, "No." He's like, "It looks like it because you got big ass bosses and there's some rolling, but just because there's big bosses and you're rolling doesn't mean it's Souls-like. Like, it's not going to be an insanely difficult." Smash your head against the wall like Souls bosses are. It's just going to be like, holy fuck, this is cool looking.
That's so I watched it before you buy from Gamer Ranks, and that's pretty much exactly what they said. They said, even the bosses that you're encountering through the level, they're like what you would expect on a main boss in any other game.
Yeah,
right.
Exactly.
Screen filling things going on and massive events, and it seems like most of the enemies that you encounter, they are meant to be that one-on-one boss battle. That's kind of what the game seems to be geared towards. Well, and is not necessarily a boss rush.
Yeah.
But where each battle is a boss battle.
Exactly. Well, I love that they're doing it that way because, as much as, I know you're a big From Software guy, Souls is your jam, but there's been this, for years, that's what gaming was these, you go back to, old God of War games. It was just climbing giants and Shadow of the Colossus. Like that's all games were for the longest time. And we've had this run recently where everything needs to be Dark Souls level for people to think that you have to, that's what a good game is. So to have this, in a land where Elden Ring is huge again, it's nice to have this return to, this shit's massive. Like, it's gorgeous to look at, but it's not going to be this is my 18th attempt on this boss, and I want to get a professional therapist in here. Like, it's just going to be fucking fun to look at and be a part of and blow your mind.
Yeah. I'm excited to play it because now, from what I've heard, it's still difficult.
Yeah, absolutely. But it's not Souls.
Not as ball-bustingly difficult.
Exactly.
And I think Souls, like, it's also, like, something to keep in mind, too, is it's not necessarily always the bosses.
Yeah, that's true. Just any
Dark
enemy you encounter can be...
Like, if we're talking about the Souls-like, it is more about, like, we want to catch you off guard and kill you.
Yeah.
That's kind of the thing of Souls. Because, in fact, the bosses are usually the ones that I don't die to the most. DLC ones, yeah, because they're usually more difficult. But it's usually along the way when I'm like, oh, crap, I gotta run back, I gotta go get my stuff. And then somebody pops out of a hidden alcove and pushes me off a cliff.
Yeah.
And then you're like, screw you, game. Like, screw you.
Wasn't in the mood for that.
Well, so I just wanted to do the quick Black Myth Wukong. I did want to do Warframe.
Okay.
But let's, did you have something you wanted to talk about?
No, if you want to do Warframe, and then I'll slap it. Because we already the new Fortnite season I hit on. I mean, I guess I think it's coming out this year, that a new Assassin's Creed Shadows. I'm very excited for that. There's a lot of these games I'm not sure I'm going to be buying like at launch. Because it's just I can't keep up with all that. But I'm always been a huge Assassin's Creed guy. I play all of them. A lot of the ones that people hated were my favorite. I'm just weird that way, but I'm pumped for it, dude. I remember years ago being like, my dream would be Assassin's Creed in ancient Egypt, Vikings, and feudal Japan. And like all those have come true
all
now.
three. Yeah.
So I'm fucking on cloud 9 right now. So yeah, I'm pumped. They just released a trailer the other day that had like a lot of the stealth mechanics. And for the first time since 1987, it's new animations for climbing and getting down from stuff and all the stuff. Yeah. So yeah, the stealth play looks amazing. A lot of grapple hooks and moving around to use that stealth. I'm also excited for the fucking big ass samurai dude. I'm gonna be more stealthy, but like sometimes it is fun, even especially in the Viking one with Aelor. Sometimes you're just like, you know what? I'm just gonna fucking bum rush in here with a giant axe and kill everyone. So it's nice to have those options.
I wish they would have leaned just into the stealth options. But I can see why they did. Okay, here are the two options for you. I hope that they capture the stealth that was in like Mirage.
Yeah.
Which I liked.
From what I've seen, how I'm expecting it to go down is there'll probably be like 1 or 2 missions where you have to play, one or the other, or where you have to play as the samurai, and a couple where you have to play as the ninja. But from what I've been able to tell from research is like basically, 85, 90% of the game is you can swap between them if you want, and you can only play as one or the other the whole game if you want to.
I hope they do a better job of it than they did with Assassin's Creed Syndicate, which I had a really hard time getting through.
Yeah, Syndicate was rough.
I could not get into the characters. And I really love, like, the grappling hook. Awesome.
Fantastic.
A lot of the mechanics that they introduced, I loved it being in London. I thought that was really cool. The carriage, like, chases were really fun.
Yeah.
It was just the characters I had a hard time.
They weren't interesting.
Into.
Well, they weren't interesting. There's too many characters, and it wasn't like you weren't really on their side for most of it. You're kind of like, "What? I'm here with you, but I'm not feeling your plight."
Syndicate is the one I'm thinking of, where it had the two main.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I had a hard time with it.
Me too.
Even though I was really looking forward to that one. But so I hope they do a better job with this one. It's one of the ones that I'm hesitant about, that I'm probably not going to buy at launch, that I'm going to wait.
Yeah.
I'm see what people say about it. And then if it's not something that ever piques my interest, next year later, I'll be like, I like Assassin's Creed games enough. I'll go ahead and get it.
Yeah, I'll play them all. I may not play it at release, but I'm pumped for it.
Right.
I love ninjas. I love Japan. Like, let's get it. I'm excited.
Did you ever get into what's it called? The Marvel team arena thing?
No. Will was going to get me a code, and then he never did. So thanks a lot, Will. I really enjoyed playing that.
Dick.
Yep. But I've heard still, the majority of people that played it really liked it. One of the big mechanics they were pushing was having like different parts of the map you could like destroy depending on what you did. I've heard a lot of people say it's really clunky and not as cool as they wanted it to be.
Yeah.
But other than that, I've heard everyone say like the combat feels incredible. Everyone's ultimates are cool. They've done a really like you can legitly swing a Spider-Man across the entire map if you want to. Like it's not like a cooldown thing. Like fucking awesome. And the amount of videos I've seen of people playing Doctor Strange where they open a portal in front of the door everyone walks out of and then opens another portal off the side of the map. So the game starts and everyone bum rushes out the door and it just wipes the whole team right away. Fucking hilarious.
I am excited to play it. From what I've seen, it looks fun. It looks like they've captured a lot. I think they've still got some tweaking to do from what I've seen and what I've heard. I'm excited to play Venom and Hulk.
Oh yeah, dude.
Like I definitely think I want to go melee, but also Doctor Strange.
Doctor Strange looks cool, man.
Or
Punisher
Adam
looks
Warlock.
really fucking fun too.
Punisher looks fun, but he would not be my first, because I really enjoyed playing Soldier.
Yeah.
76.
He kind of fits that role, yeah.
And he kind of, they seem similar. So I could see myself really enjoying
Star-Lord
playing Punisher.
looks really fun too. I've heard a lot
But there's
of fun things.
There's some other ones that I'm like, I really kind of want to try. Like, I want to be Hulk.
Yeah, you got to try.
I want to be Venom. Like, yeah.
Yeah. Oh yeah, dude. So again, we were huge Overwatch people. Like we've played a shit ton of Overwatch. I've played a shit ton of Overwatch too. Like that's a style of game, which it's funny. This is a whole nother gaming topic for some time, but like the fact that there are a lot of like Overwatch clones coming out like this year and the next couple years. And like Overwatch isn't a new concept. So like it's kind of funny to me that like 7 years later, suddenly everyone's copying it.
I think I think I understand why. And here it is.
I'm listening.
Because Overwatch 2 bombed. They had a following, like major leagues that had so much attention. They went to Overwatch 2. They bungled it.
Horribly.
And now people are like, we can fill that gap.
That's true.
All we have to do is make one that made people feel like they were playing Overwatch instead of Overwatch 2. And people will come to that game.
And we also have the, which me and you have talked about a lot of games that are really being their own thing is awesome. But sadly, we have a lot of game companies that just go, all right, well, it's fucking popular. Let's make that. Battle Royale's falling apart. I guess we're not launching another one of those. Looter shooters. Oh, nope. Those are now falling apart. Fuck, what do we do? We
Live
can't come up with our own
games are
thing.
starting to hurt.
Yeah. It's the the arena shooter is not just the arena shooter, but the hero based arena shooter is huge right now. So it's
might be
interesting.
making a comeback.
The what's the term I'm looking for? Like Escape from Tarkov, that style of game.
Survival shooter.
No, there's an actual term for it. Where you go and get loot and exfil out and jump into the next mission and stuff like that. I can't remember the exact term. I feel really dumb. It's a big gaming term, but those didn't I mean, there's still a lot of those coming out. But yeah, those didn't hit nearly as hard as I think a lot of the gaming world thought. I mean, I think Bungie's, I have to double check. I'm going to get a lot of hate for this now. I think Bungie's other game they were working on is one of those, and then I think they're having to hard shift away because that whole genre is falling apart. I can't remember 100%, but like a lot of people were making the extraction shooters. Thank you. I got it. Okay. I just thanked myself. Thank you, brain. Extraction shooters. Yeah, they had a big run and they're kind of falling apart now. So yeah, the hero-based arena shooters. Here we are. Is that a Gideon?
That is.
Hi, Gideon. Yeah.
Are you saying goodnight?
Are you going to bed, Bubby?
Yeah,
Hi, buddy.
he did a very polite knock, and then he said, "Hi, Dad."
Oh,
Can I
what a
guess?
sweetie. Oh, Gideon. In case anyone didn't hear his wife in the background, Gideon did a polite knock and said "Daddy" instead of just barging in the room. What a sweetheart.
He did. He will. He'll come up and he'll go, "Hi, Dad." Dad. He calls me
Aw.
Dad. He
Dad,
doesn't
yeah,
say
yeah.
Dad yet.
Yeah.
So he'll just
Yo, you old bitch, open up. Yeah, I know how it goes.
yeah. I think it's interesting. You know, and maybe we should plan this as another topic. But I think the gaming industry is going under an interesting change right now. I think you have a lot of these, and I think it's actually a trend that's following through a lot of industries, where you have a lot of these really, really large companies that have so much bloat.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
And it's that too big to fail. I think they're getting ready to topple.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely.
Because they have too much bloat, because you're seeing, especially as more and more people are realizing, I can start a business on the internet for nothing. You're seeing a lot of smaller companies be able to slim down and make a killing. Look at a lot of these indie publishers, right? A lot of them have been able to hit it big. They're only selling their game for $10,
but they're still making millions. Yeah.
They made it themselves or with a small team, and they've made millions. Look at Brandon Sanderson. $40 million on his Kickstarter.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not saying, like, now he's a medium-sized company, right? His publishing company is medium-sized.
But at first.
But he was able to take something small, keep it trim, and make lots of money off of it. I think we're starting to see where that's actually starting to hit the big guys, because they have so much bloat, their margins are so razor thin.
They're the second,
and you have a lot of CEOs and a lot of board members who are going, we're all about the profit. Anyway, yeah. So I think that the gaming industry is going through a shift where you're going to start to see a lot of medium-sized companies be able to make a lot more money, because
100%.
People don't really want to pay $70. You can't. You know, you got 3 or 4 games coming out in a month. Most people can't afford the extra $200 to $300 to keep up with the gaming industry.
Oh, absolutely.
Which means that they're having pick and choose, which means that those games that are good aren't going to do as well. But these smaller indie publishers who put out 50 games, you know, I mean, some of them, that's what some of them do. They put out 50 games, one of them hits it big, and they make a lot of money.
And that pays
nobody
for everything
sees
else.
the 50 other games that they did.
Exactly.
I think Thor was talking about this, where he's like, Pirate Software. I don't know if you watch his
heard
stuff.
of them. Yeah.
Okay, you should. He's really positive. I really like him. Okay. The only thing that I have a beef with him about is Helldivers, but that's a whole other thing. Anyway, he talks about how they go small, and then they can gamble a little bit. But a lot of what they do is then they continue to gamble and go bigger, and they shouldn't do that. They should go small, gamble big. Small, until they've recouped what they need, and then they can gamble again, right? When they have the extra cash flow. Anyway.
Yeah, for sure.
Sorry, you got me on that topic.
No,
I wanted to switch.
I think it'd be a very good topic too, and what the downfall of battle royales has done to the gaming industry is a very interesting thing to look at.
Live service games as a whole.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like, so many have been like, nope, we're not doing this because we've lost.
Dude, we could do this next week. You want to do this next week?
Sure.
Let's do it next week. Sweet. We have one more episode before the gaming club anyway. Sweet. All right. Can I slap Once Human in the face with positivity?
I wanted to do Warframe real quick.
Oh, yeah, go for it. Do Warframe. 1999.
Yeah, so Warframe, is doing some cool stuff. I don't know if anybody, if
This is where Beard suddenly shows up in the chat. Guys!
yeah. So actually, me and him are gonna start playing through Warframe next Saturday.
Oh,
Sure,
you
bud.
got to have him so pumped.
And so because I really liked playing it, it was something that I played for a little while and then fell off of. But it's mostly because once I got to a certain point, I was like, I don't know where I'm going or what
Yeah.
I'm doing anymore. Because it's got so much stuff and it's got so much that's adds on. It's kind of become hard to keep up with. But one of the things that I saw was really cool was a trailer for Warframe 1999, which appears to be a DLC, but like flashing back to 1999 and playing through some like single player like story campaign stuff. I'm really not sure what's going on with it, but the trailer looked freaking awesome. Because
And
you're
that's all
like
you
in a
need.
1990 strip mall, and then like you jump on a motorcycle and you're flying through like these tunnels below ground. You're like running into and talking all the different to like all these different warframes, but they're also like people. So I don't know really what's going on there, but it looks really cool. I'm really interested on what the story is there. At first, I thought it was a single player. Like I was like, oh, they're releasing a new game that's Warframe in 1999, and it's going to be like a campaign.
That's what I thought it was going to be.
But I don't think that's what it is because they're talking about it being like an add-on to the Warframe game. So I don't know what's going on there. It looks really awesome, though. I'm super pumped for it. They've also got their Soulframe. Soulframe, which is their medieval fantasy version of Warframe.
Looks
pretty cool,
that, dude. I don't think you like anything about that.
I'm all.
I've known you a long time. That is zero interest to you.
Yeah, so I'm pretty excited about that because I like Warframe, but if it's fantasy, like I like sci-fi, but if you can make it more fantasy, I like sword and board. I like people going at it with swords or magic. I'm down for this because it has both. And then let's hit me with Once Human.
Okay, yeah. I do want to get an update on Warframe. It's a game that's always existed, I feel like, and I never got into it. And it's like now, like he wants me to get into it so bad that I feel like I just can't out of spite. You know what I mean? So
I will be your proxy then.
Be my proxy.
I will.
If I get into it, it'll be for you, not for him.
I think you should join us next Saturday.
No, that's effort.
Okay. Right.
That's effort. No, it'd make him too happy if I showed up.
Okay.
Surprise guest. Bah, 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 bah. Yeah, who knows? Maybe I'll get a change of heart. We both know I'll probably do it because I have horrible FOMO. Anyway, it's crippling and I hate myself. So
I'm just going to let you know what time we're playing, and then if you decide to join,
if I happen to show up, I do. Yeah, cool.
Yeah.
DM me the details.
Okay.
I hate myself. So Once Human, big update on that. I have finished everything. I have done all the things. We pushed ourselves real hard because we got into it a couple weeks late. And then obviously every scenario is 6 weeks. So we had a month to get through it all. And last night we finally got through the raid and it was fucking awesome. It was the style of it, the story, the voice acting, the mechanics. It was stunning. I've got it going up on YouTube, I think, while we're recording this. So
okay, good.
So you can watch that. But they did a really cool thing where so there's 4 bosses, right? And the first 3 bosses are basically teaching you a mechanic, and then the last boss is all of the mechanics together. But in this giant room with a million other things happening at the same time. I don't think I've ever been that stressed in my life.
Sure.
In without playing, the only time I can think about that is when you're top 3 in like Warzone when there was 130 people on the map or something, you know, and you're like, holy fuck, you haven't gotten a win in like a month. You're like, oh my God, this has to happen. And if it doesn't, I'm going to slip my wrists and this is all over, you know, like, dude, it ended. And me and my friend Josh, we were like, I'm so sorry for anything I might have said during that. I love you so much. I respect you as a person. Because it's just a lot of like, what the fuck are you doing? Holy shit, get over here. Oh my God, you know. But dude, and it's so up your alley. This like, it's just terrible. The boss was fucking, of these bosses that have been ginormous, like spider women and like like hellhounds that have another mouth coming out of the mouth, and all that stuff. Like the last boss was like a pretty lady that floats with a giant jellyfish head, and somehow the scariest thing I've encountered in the game.
So, okay, so I have a question, because I've jumped into it, right?
Yes,
and
yes,
I've played a little bit. I have not played as much as you. It's so funny, because I'll be sitting here writing, and I'll see just the little pop-up. Elmer is playing Once Human.
Yeah.
Elmer is playing Once Human. And then I think I looked at how many hours you've played it, and it's like 120?
120, yeah, in like a month. It's bad.
So I know you've been playing it a lot, and I'm like, it makes me kind of jealous because I know that you guys are on the same server, and I'm like, I just want to be on the server with these guys.
And I'm going to cover that in a second, buddy. Don't you worry.
Okay, good.
This is important.
But
anyway.
My question.
Yes.
Hold on. I had a question.
I'm answering. I'm ready.
I forgot what it was. Okay. Oh yeah. Wait. So the lady with the jellyfish head.
Yeah.
Because there are timed events where you can go and there's like a convoy.
Yeah.
And you can break down the convoy, and then you end up having this jelly thing floating on your head.
Correct.
Related?
I think in a way, yes.
Okay.
I think in a way, yes. Because it looks like this next upcoming PvP scenario, if you join into that, there's a lot of these big like PvP wars that happen. And from what I've seen in the trailers is like, it's a lot of people running around that some of them have the jellyfish and you're killing other ones to get their jellyfish. Don't know lore-wise what that means, but I'm sure it's there. So, yeah, I think it's all together.
That's what happened with the convoy.
Yeah.
I was the only one there, so I got all the rewards for it.
Which is awesome.
Because nobody was there to kill me for wearing the jellyfish head. But
did you see the new event they just added to the game?
No, I haven't been on in a couple of weeks.
So I haven't done everything then. I'm waiting for this one to spawn actually so I can do this. They just added it this last week. So I used to have, my base is actually built on the highest point you could be in this section of the map. And it was super, we just did it because it was fucking dumb to do it. So we did it. Mm-hmm. I spent a very long time climbing to the top of this mountain because I was like, I wonder if I can. So they've added an event at this top of this mountain, and it's like it's this like demon plane that comes to, like an airplane that comes to life with like vines and tentacle shit coming out of it, and like
so like the bus, but it's
like the bus, but it's a plane, and instead of it, like it's legitly flapping the wings of the plane like a bird to move around.
Yeah.
So what you do is you climb on its back, and then it takes off and flies around the whole map while other shit is spawning on it to try to kill you.
Neat.
And it sounds fucking awesome.
It reminds me of the level in Golden Axe.
Yes.
Where you're on the back of an eagle.
Yes. Bless your face and everything you stand for as a person. But yeah, so another cool thing, we were stuck. Like all the bosses we've hit, I've put them on YouTube, right, as you're leveling up. We've been able to, most of them, I think we did the first try, maybe the second try. But like the last boss of the story, we fucking got stonewalled hard. It was suddenly very difficult. Like,
I remember this when you were talking with somebody about being like, we can't figure out.
Like I'd watched videos that were telling you the mechanics, and I was like, oh, that makes perfect sense. So we go in and be like, fucking no clue what's going on, right? Finally got it figured out, but amazing. So there's this he's this giant like tree looking thing, right? And I can't even begin to grasp the scope of how big he is. And it's a very small arena. Think of it like you're on a stage. It's legitimately a stage in front of him. And there's 3 sections of the stage. And that's the only room you have to move around. right?
Yeah.
And he's like throwing ads at you. He's slapping his hand down, which creates a wave. You have to jump over. Every so often he brings his arm down on one side and sweeps it all the way to the other side. And so that was a mechanic we were struggling with, because you had to run to the other edge of the map. So you had to pay attention to where his arm was going so you could run in time to not get hit by it. And then I discovered there was this item I could craft that like shoots you into the sky. And I was like, I wonder if I can use it during this fight. And so the arm would come down, I'd throw it on the ground, and it'd launch me in the sky, and I'd like go right over his arm and just like pull the bird out and float back down to the ground. And I was like, this guy's fucking dead, dude. So we finally queued with like a random person. We're like, all right, we just need that extra damage. Like we were thinking we were kind of getting the mechanics figured out, but we needed more damage, or else we have to bring like 80,000 bullets each.
Yeah.
So we bring this other person in. They did really good damage, but they, so you can get revived. I don't know how many times you can get revived, but you have like a self revive you can use 3 times during a fight. Yeah. And he was like, boom, 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 all of them. And then we revived him like 2 or 3 more times. And then he was I think he fell off the map. So the last half of the fight, it was just me and Josh. We're like, shit. If we're going to, like, this has to be the one we get it. Like, we don't have an option. Yeah. Like, we have to just get it. And we whittled it down, and there was mechanics we hadn't ever seen before happening, and we were figuring it out on the fly. We were just in that moment. You know what I mean? That beautiful gaming weave. And we got that boss kill. It was amazing. I got a katana out of it.
Nice.
And so in the finish screen, when it shows, everyone's damage and stuff, everyone has like a title they get depending on what they are. And I didn't realize they could do this, but like I wonder if I can find it because it was so fucking funny.
The guy who died?
The guy who died a ton. Like it wasn't like you tried thing. It was legitly like, where is it? Fuck. We've been talking so much. There it is. Help Me Up is the title it gave him.
That's so mean.
Help Me Up. It's so good. So good, dude. Yeah, that was fantastic. But yeah, so that boss fight was incredible. I didn't record it. I think that's why we killed it. I recorded every other attempt, and we kept dying. And I was like, I'm not going to record this one. And of course, that's when we killed it. So someday I'll go back into it with you, and we'll kill it, and we'll record it. It'll be beautiful.
Yeah.
But so that leads us in that we've reached the end for the majority of servers of the scenario ending. So in the next couple days is when me, Josh, Death, and Sumbode are jumping into a new server where we're all going to be together. We've got Eggman's already. He jumped in the chat and talked about that with his friend in my Discord, the Once Human chat. In the Discord we're all a part of, where we talk about Helldivers and Valheim and Mass Effect. There's a general chat. People say hi. Yeah, we've all been chatting in there, baby.
Oh, I've jumped in it a couple of times.
Okay, good, yeah. So the big thing is, and this is part of why I was like, hey, don't jump into it too much now, Russ, so that like when the time comes where we can all jump in together, then you can really jump into the game. So over the next couple days, I've just
been doing what you're saying.
Yeah, exactly. So we're here now, Russ. We're all going to be jumping into a server together, and then we can devour all this content holding hands, buddy. We're here. We've reached the point.
Okay. Have we chosen a server yet?
We have not yet. That is the discussion happening now. The big discussion was if we're going to jump into a hard server or not. I know Death and Bode were really wanting to do that, but the majority of the rest of us, including myself and Josh, who have played it all, are like, I don't know if we want to do that, especially with new people jumping in. And there's like a lot of times I'm playing by myself and he's playing by himself. And so we don't want to be like, well, we can't do anything without having a group. Like, I just want the hard content to be the group content. So,
right.
So I think we're just going to go with a normal server. And then I think in 8 hours is when me and Josh's server officially not ends, but like the ability to then transfer and sign up for another server begins. So the next 2 days, buddy, keep your eyes peeled on that chat where we'll be announcing where we're going.
Okay.
I will. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, Once Human, I'm fucking blown away by it. Everyone that made the clickbaity titles about the season wipe and shitting all over it, idiots. Like, as time's gone by and they've explained more how it works, it's awesome and cool and fun, and I'm excited to see how it goes. So
I think that's a trend lately.
yeah,
I think it's been a trend for a long time.
It's been a
where
trend
you
for a
have
long
people,
time.
especially who thrive off of, like you said, the clickbaity trolling. We're going to be super negative about this thing because it gets us a lot of views.
Yeah. Well,
Really
and it
hate
was, I mean, once using the word wipe was a bad choice, definitely by the developers, because
Sure.
they used the word wipe and one person ran with it. And then instead of that information coming from the developers, one article leads into someone else writing. And then, the majority of the gaming community thinks they know it as fact because of, this one blurb
Right.
from an article instead of doing any research. So that's all right. My server won't be full of, level 1 bases destroying, the beginner zone now. So it'll be everyone that wants to play. So I'm excited.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm excited. It's something that I do enjoy playing.
Yeah.
I wish I had more people to play with.
And
I
now you
also
will.
there's a lot of games that I want to play
Yeah.
that I'm having a hard time with. Like Cult of the Lamb. I guess I'm gonna have to put it aside to play Mass Effect 2.
You have a
And
week and a
finish
half,
that.
so you kind of need to. Yeah.
I'll do what I can.
Okay. Good for you, buddy.
I'll finish it.
I know
I
you
did the
will.
same thing. At least this time I've started it and
That's
I've
true.
been playing it.
Exactly. It's not okay, where the hell am I?
Right.
Yeah. All right, buddy. Should we get out of here, dude?
Yeah.
I enjoyed that.
Oh, there was one other thing. There was one other thing that I wanted to talk about. Ah!
Yeah, go for it, dude.
Okay. Robert Downey Jr. returning to the MCU
Yes.
to play Doctor Doom.
So
How do you feel about that?
the biggest thing I feel with it is immediately knowing there's going to be a moment where Doctor Doom is doing some evil shit, right? The Avengers show up. He gets unmasked, and Spider-Man is looking into the face of Robert Downey Jr., of Tony Stark as the villain. And they're going to fucking ham it up with that. And I don't know if my heart is ready to deal with those emotions.
Uh-huh.
That is my biggest takeaway. My second one is I'm very excited. Obviously, RDJ is incredible. Of course, there's variants of Doctor Doom, and Doctor Doom has been Iron Man before.
Yeah.
In the current season of Fortnite, there's an Easter egg. There's a certain bookcase. If you break it down, there's like an underground Iron Man fan club, which is kind of cute and funny.
Cool. Yeah.
But it's not an unheard of thing. Like, a lot of people have been screaming for some incoherent reason. But so I'm excited for that. I love RDJ. My heart's not prepared for what's going to happen with Spider-Man. I'm cool with it. At the same time, there's so many great people that could have been Doom, and
Sure.
and I've really enjoyed watching other people have a grasp on being the villain. I know he's going to do a great job, but at the same time, it would have been really cool to let someone else step into that. But I also get from Marvel's side, they just had someone step into being the next big villain, and that didn't go well.
That did not go well.
So,
Well,
it safe. I get it.
I am so excited about this.
Yeah.
And I think it was such a brilliant move on somebody's part to be like, we're losing our main villain that we've been setting up. We
We're
don't
also-
have time to now set up a
new
new
one.
villain.
That's true. And there's been a lot of things in this phase that have not. There's been a lot of great Marvel
Right.
stuff in this phase, but there's been a lot of stinky stuff in this phase. So it was very smart
Shang-Chi?
to save face.
Very cool.
Incredible.
Have you seen Deadpool versus Wolverine?
Buddy.
Deadpool and Wolverine?
Deadpool and Wolverine, buddy. I made sure, because I knew it was like so much was going to get spoiled, that I drove. So my family was in Colorado. I don't remember that episode where I was here alone, and I was yeah.
Yeah.
I was like, I'm going to get so much gaming done. And then I was just a depressed piece of shit all week. I I was so excited for the movie. I called off work and drove a day early to let my dad watch the kids so me and Lisa could go watch the movie.
Nice.
Incredible.
I for that.
Yeah.
I think that's amazing. I just saw it night before last.
So it's fresh, dude. Maybe you know
So
exactly what I'm talking about. But for a movie that had 118 F-bombs, there's one particular that might be the best fuck I've ever heard in any movie, period.
I think was it the one by Wolverine?
Nope.
Or one of the few by Wolverine?
It was the one at the end by the villain.
Oh, oh yeah, with like yeah, that was really funny. Or like when his suit shreds. And it's like what?
So everyone's calling that Hugh Jackman's Hawaiian rolls. And so there's all these TikTok trends of people that are being like, I'm wearing sunglasses so no one can tell what I'm looking at. And then you just see like the reflection of that scene in their sunglasses, you know? And then there's this other TikTok, this lady, she's like, when everything reminds you of him, and she's like unloading her groceries and there's like a pack of Hawaiian rolls and the music starts playing as she looks at it. I was like, this is great. This is great.
It was such a good movie. Anyway,
Incredible.
The reason I brought that up, I really liked what they did with the multiversal stuff there.
Yeah.
I think it was a perfect send off to Fox and Channing Tatum as Gambit. Because I don't know if you know this, but the reason they were making those comments is because he's been trying to make a Gambit movie
forever.
Oh,
Yeah.
And he said it was at the goal line and it never happened.
Oh yeah. There's pictures and stuff. Yeah, this was his dream come true.
Yeah, which I'm really hoping they bring him back because
he did fantastic.
Surprisingly good Gambit. Like when
you have somebody who's been wanting to do it for 20 years, you'd hope it's pretty good.
Like when I first saw it, I was like,
is that Channing?
Out of context of the movie, it's not nearly as impactful. In the movie, you're like, okay, that's
there's also the moment where
great.
Channing Tatum's big thing recently has just been cameos in everyone's movie. So for a second, I was like, oh, fuck. It's like, I was excited because the costume was fantastic, but I was like, great, it's another Channing Tatum like showing up in a movie. And then he started talking and I was like, oh, this man did his homework.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, he's from Louisiana.
Oh, yeah.
So it was like, and when, like, because at first I was like, I heard like a clip of it and I was like, I don't know. But in the movie, when I was hearing it, I was like, oh, that's a really good job, man. And then like when Deadpool's like, I feel like we're missing out on some major exposition. Anybody understand the word he just said? Like I was like, because it would take me a second. I'd be like, oh, okay.
I think I got it. I got
what
it.
he said. Yeah.
But we can't get too far into that. We can't get too far into that.
Yeah, sorry.
Anyway,
I got distracted.
RDJ as Dr. Doom is going to be, yes, it is very exciting. It's very cool. It was a brilliant idea. And yeah.
I didn't get to finish my thought. I got distracted by Deadpool.
No one gives a shit about your thought. No, I'm kidding. Go ahead and finish your thought.
No, I'm going to finish this thought. I think that it is an amazing story opportunity because, like you said, the history that he has and the fact that in the main 616 universe, he's dead.
Yeah.
Just could be because I cannot wait till that moment where they unmask him. And it's a perfect setup for it's a villain. We don't have to go into his backstory to feel for him.
Exactly.
Because we've already had Iron Man. And all we need is that quick little explanation of that twist. And it could be very easy because there's that moment when he creates Ultron to protect
the shield around the world.
And instead of creating Ultron, he creates his Doctor Doom persona. Like that could be that's a very easy.
Which I think it'll be something like that to let, again, like you were saying, so they don't have to build it up with its own movie and stuff. To like have a moment where everyone goes, oh, that makes sense.
And because it's a multiverse, he doesn't have to be the permanent Doctor Doom.
No,
I think that's why they introduced the multiverse, is because they have an excuse now to be like, okay, this actor's too old. Instead of having an explanation why they've then moved on, we can bring them in here. Kind of like with Chris Evans in
Oh.
his cameo.
Yeah.
Which
Yeah.
it sets it up so beautifully, and then it's like, no, he's Johnny Storm, and it's like, that was great.
So
Like,
fucking good.
I forgot he was Johnny Storm. So you have those moments where it's like, okay, here is a perfect, like, Robert Downey Jr., perfect way to introduce Doctor Doom, and then they can do some more world building with like another Doctor Doom, right? They tend to kill off the villains. That's a thing they can do. So I'm super excited about it. Robert Downey Jr. is a great actor.
Incredible.
He does so many things well. It reminds me of The Lawyer. Have you ever seen The Lawyer?
Oh, yes.
Where he's like taking care of his dad who's starting to have Alzheimer's, and anyway, great movie. Very serious movie, and I think I don't think I've ever seen him as a villain, and I'm excited to see him as a villain.
He's built for it. Well, I mean, in U.S. Marshals, he was the villain in that movie.
Oh yeah, I guess so.
Yeah, he was great in that. But yeah, I'm trying not to keep talking about this so we can end the show. But how you're mentioning, because he's not the prominent Doom. I was essentially saying earlier, it'd be cool. There's a lot of cool actors I like to see take on that persona. There's a chance that other people can step in and be Doom in future, in future installments.
And I have a feeling they're going to go in that direction because that's what they were setting up with Kang.
Yeah. And
so they're probably going to take a lot of those story elements, and instead of doing it with Kang, they're going to do it with Doctor Doom.
Can we take a moment though, with all the the Kang shit that happened, right? Is just have a real big moment for poor Paul Rudd, who was the only one to his movie was the one pushing this guy as the villain, and now that whole movie is just kind of doesn't exist because of everything.
It's kind of I think that's kind of the nod and the wink that they made with having Ant-Man's dead body in Deadpool and Wolverine.
Right. Yeah.
Of you're over too, man. Sorry.
It's just I feel so bad for him, man, because such a great character. I love Paul Rudd, and
I really love him as Ant-Man.
And I do too. And his movie was the big here's how we're introducing the next villain, and now it just doesn't mean anything. I even kind of
liked his movie.
I had a great time with the movie. Yeah.
Yeah. It was MODOK was bad.
Yeah, but it was still it was bad. It was bad in I've read comic books. This is okay. But it was bad, but it was this is definitely it's a comic book thing.
It was funny. But it was I was listening to some people talk earlier, and they were like, it's unnecessary. And I was like, yeah, it doesn't really make sense. But, like you said, it's funny.
Exactly.
Excuse me.
Anyway, sorry, Paul Rudd. Love you, buddy.
Yeah.
Enjoyed your movie. Sorry that you got fucked over by someone fucking over. Anyway, Russ, where can people find you?
You can find me on Discord, Jackal72590. I'm usually pretty frequent in Elmer's Discord. And his sister's Blue Laser. Call her out a little bit.
Yeah.
If you're ever playing Helldivers, more than willing, play that. And I will be playing Space Marines 2 and Once Human. And Mass Effect 2.
Effect 2. Let's go, baby.
I guess.
Hung low in the chat, DC or Marvel or both? Both. They both bring very cool, interesting things to the table.
It depends on what we're talking about. If we're talking about cinematic universe, I got to go Marvel.
100%.
They've done a great job there.
If you're going animated, it's DC all the way.
DC has way better animated, and that's another topic. And if we're talking comic books, both. But I like Marvel. There are more Marvel stories that I like than DC stories. I think Marvel has the edge there too.
And it's also interesting. I think there's more Batman stories that I like than entire Marvel stories that I like.
Batman is really good. I just don't like the Bat family.
It has its moments.
I prefer Batman
I
as
think
a
they
solo
went too far with it, but
hero.
it had its cool things. But yeah.
It does, but I don't think Batman should have a Robin. It just it doesn't mesh with his character, in my opinion. Like the Batman that I like, it doesn't mesh with his character.
I could see that. I don't
If
know,
you're talking
I
about
always
like
liked it.
campy Batman,
Yeah,
it's
campy.
fine.
Well, that's the beauty of Batman is he's had so many iterations that like it depends on which one you have.
There are versions that fit, but I tend to like his solo stories much better.
I haven't watched it. We have to end the episode. Hey everyone, thank you for joining us for episode 121 of Just Some Gamers. My wife wants to watch a movie. I'm trying not to die.
Oh my gosh, I'm so sorry.
We do the show. We are live.
Screw.
Twitch.tv/ELMMERFUDD Games Thursday nights at 7 p.m. Mountain, 8 p.m. Central, and 9 p.m. Eastern. If you live on the West Coast, hey, here's a topic for the future. Why doesn't anyone game in the West Coast? Because anyone I ever play with is always telling me what they're in Eastern time. I think I've played with one person in California my entire life. Do you people not game over there? Is that what it is?
They're too busy in traffic.
Okay, that's what it is. Got it. They can't afford to play video games, I guess. I don't know. It was just an interesting topic. It's everyone I know is Central and Eastern.
Yeah.
I don't play with anyone that's like, I'm in California. But it's a heavily populated area, and a lot of the podcasts I listen to are people there. I never game with them. I don't know what's going on. Hey, if you're in California, listen to this, reach out. Let's play some games, huh?
We love you.
We love you very much.
Live in California.
Hey, and if you're one of our listeners over in Egypt, glad to still be in top 5. We're with you, baby.
Are we
Russell,
really?
Take us out. We are.
Are we still top 5 in Egypt?
Top 5 gaming podcasts in Egypt.
I mean, we just need to take our show on the road someday.
I agree, and only go to Egypt.
Right.
Yeah.
I'm with you. You never did your ELMMERFUDD, double M.
Oh, yeah. Twitch, Twitter, YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, all those places at ELMMERFUDD Games. Double M, double D.
Double D. I got it.
Thanks, man. Appreciate you.
Join us next week or sometime on Just Some Gamers for mutual chaos and utter incompetency.
Ooh, beautifully done, buddy boy. I'm just going to end the stream.